Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun. And honey, it's time for the Shannon Sharp and Monique interview. Let's get into it. So up on the intro, Monique is very decorated. Everything Shannon said was simply amazing, and I don't think I knew all of that, right? She said that she knew from a young age she always wanted to be famous. She said that when she saw Oprah on a television show in Baltimore, she could resonate with her. And she said a big woman with a big head, with big shoulders and big feet. Like that's the first time she saw somebody that she could be like. She said now if Oprah hadn't have been on television, she still would have had that push. But seeing Oprah gave her that push. Monique said she's been a tattletale all her life, right? She said she stands for what's right. And if she sees something that could potentially hurt someone or put someone in a bad place, she said she's going to tell it, right? Because you got to answer to that. Even though it's not her business, she says she's going to tell it. Monique was in special ed. Um, she said that she just could not connect with what was being taught. She could not understand things about the Boston Tea Party, where black people actually were in those situations. But she also said she was not grasping, and that's the most important part. She said something like, yeah, Shannon, I was in the slow class, we're colored. I didn't like that. I don't know what she mean by that. But then she also said that, she's used to being doubted and where she's come from and who she is. People wasn't expecting her to be as successful as she is, right? And big ups to Monique for that because a lot of people don't get past that or those stereotypes. So that's good. So Monique does not have a relationship with her biological family. And she says this is when the truth comes in, right? She was like, are you supposed to accept trauma, accept being treated wrong, being violated? She was like, she chooses to live the rest of her life out with her husband and her kids. And she doesn't want to deal with people who don't take accountability for the things that they've done wrong to her. So you can kind of understand that, right? So Shanna asked her a question like, how did you get from there to this? She went on to say something, and then she eventually said, she got the LA, she got the Parkers, and she was excited. And then once she realized that the checks were not adding up to the work, that's when she started telling her truth. She mentioned that she saw Taraji on these platforms speaking out about that. And Shannon asked her, like, well, what's so different because you did this about a decade ago? She said, first of all, the delivery. How dare this big fat black woman question anything? And she said, how dare I say names? Why did I say Oprah? Why did I say Tyler? Why did I say Lionsgate? Okay, she getting into it now. So what Monique has said is the reason that what she did versus what Taraji has done is because she had a strong black man standing beside her, and she is a strong black woman saying these things versus Taraji on a platform looking broken, and now we want to make a change. Do y'all think that that's true? So now we're talking about Sydney, right? Because he's always there. He's always everywhere. And she said people are asking the question like, why is he here? Why is he always around? I've asked that question too. And Shannon was like, well, what is he? Like people questioning who you are together. And she said, basically, he's her everything. He's her manager. So for him to be by her side and her representation while she says what she says versus Taraji not having anyone there, she says it's a sad day when people question something like that for somebody to actually have support. What do y'all think about that? So Shannon asked her about the punishment that she has received from the industry. She said it was really hard financially for her family, right? And then she talked about The Color Purple and how the rollout was and how there was tension between Oprah and Taraji and how Taraji wrote her a letter and said the things that she said in the letter. But then what Monique said she had a problem with is that Taraji turned around and said Lady O fixed it, right? And she said this doesn't clear up anything because this will allow Oprah to continue to do what she's doing. And that doesn't sit right with her. Okay. Child, so she said, like, Lee Daniels had apologized to her, right? Oprah, of course, has not. But Tyler Perry had called her and had a conversation. He kind of apologized. And, as it went on, he said that he put the rumor out that Monique was hard to work with. So Monique tells Shannon, like, Shannon, I sent you the recording, and what did that man say? So Shannon's like, Shannon did not listen to that recording. He was like, Monique, you're not supposed to be recording people. Shannon, just say you didn't listen to it. But Monique is really still calling names out. She's saying how Oprah didn't get paid, how she was supposed to get paid when she was on that show in Baltimore. And now here comes today, she won't do right by other women. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but let's keep going. Child, Monique says she recorded Tyler saying his apologies. And she said it's legal where she is. And she said even if she hadn't done it, it would have been her word against his. But now that you have his voice saying these things, now people are saying, why would you record him? So Monique is really like, I can't win if I do it. I can't win if I don't, in a kind of situation like that. But I think it's her delivery and how she shows up that some people are just not sensitive to her. Child, Monique said that line in that room that Tyler Perry said, like, her family lost hundreds and millions of dollars. Is he going to compensate her? Then Shannon, talking too much, said, is Tyler Perry, you want him to compensate you? She said, look into the camera and ask him. Child, Shannon done looked into the camera and said, Tyler Perry, would you come and sit on this couch where Monique is and we can talk about the fair compensation? Then Monique says, I'll do you one better. Me and my husband would be sitting right here on the end. Shannon, you got yourself in some mess, sir. Child, she said that... Monique was trying to get it done. Monique had sent the audio to Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton listened to it, said it was wrong. She said after that conversation, she didn't hear from him for 6 months. And when she heard from him again, he was at a podium talking about fly Tyler Perry. We don't need to fly commercial. Girl... Child, she sent the audio to Stephanie Mills. And she said that Stephanie was like, I will talk to Tyler. While they were on the phone, Tyler called and said, I will have a conversation with Monique, but I will only have a conversation with her without her husband. And she has to say that Oprah and I did not say those things about her. Child, so she said she was on a Kevin Hart podcast and they talked about the Tyler Perry situation. He said he was going to call Tyler. He called Tyler, he called Mo back, and he said, Tyler doesn't want to revisit this, but whatever it is that you want to do, Mo, I'm here for you. So Monique goes on the Kevin Hart podcast. She talks about the Tyler Perry situation. When it's over, he said he's calling Tyler. He calls Tyler. He lets Mo know that Tyler said he wants no revisitation of this at all. But Kevin reassures her and says, whatever you want, Monique, I'll do it. I'll back you. I'm with you. Executive producer, whatever. She said, I'm in the talks with Endemol for a talk show. He said, I'm in it. Then she said 2 weeks later, she gets a call from Kevin Hart's manager, said he wants nothing to do with Monique. Then she says immediately she calls him. He was like, oh, Monique, it's been a misunderstanding. I'm going to fix this. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. Monique said when she hung up the phone, it's been 2 years and she has yet to speak to Kevin yet. Child. So she references Cat Williams again when, like, Kevin Hart has said that Cat Williams needs to get the anger out of his heart. She said he never said that he was lying. And she said no one has said she's lying. Monique got a tough road. So it seems like Shannon is finally getting it, right? Like, Monique has a recording where Tyler is saying that he made up this room and this lie on Monique. But then Shannon immediately says, well, why did you record him, Monique? But then if she hadn't recorded him, it would have been her word against his, and who's going to believe Monique over Tyler Perry? Especially if she's been thought of as being difficult to work with. She can't win. Like, people just are not satisfied sometimes. Child, she sent the tapes to T.S. Madison as well. And basically made Shannon say that he heard Tyler say that he had lied on Monique on the tapes. I don't know if Shannon meant to do that, but that's exactly what happened. One thing's for sure, there'll never be a relationship with Monique, Tyler Perry, and Oprah Winfrey. That bridge is burned, drowned, and never to be created again. He did ask him, why do you think Tyler wants only to talk to her and without her husband? She was like, it's the best thing because at least with all of us there, we can have a conversation. I'm going on to a part two. It's your girl Millie Chun. I'll be back. Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun, and this is part two of Monique talking to Shannon Sharp about Hollywood and everything else. Let's go. So let me tell you something. She can't with Oprah Winfrey. She was like, I guess Oprah, when she turned 70, said, I'm 70 years old and I've never done anybody wrong. Monique said lies, because this woman has been saying your name for a decade. He asked her, would she sit down and talk to Oprah if she called? Now, she went through the gamut of things, but basically at the end of it, she said, I will sit down and speak to anyone who's brave enough to do that. So, child, she says she still loves Oprah. She's her sister. She just got to come back across the street. You know, she still got the light on. She said, but when she speaks about her, she only does that because Oprah has spoken about her. And she said, when Oprah speaks about me in private, I'm going to speak about you in public. Child, it's some bad blood between Oprah and Monique. She said that Oprah had all the Oscar winners on stage, and when they had gone to commercial, they were all screaming Monique's name. Sidney told Monique that he noticed that before they came back, Oprah kind of turned and looked like they're screaming her name, not my name. And then she was like, wait a minute, before people say I'm reaching. She said that Lee Daniels had offered her the lead role in The Butler. But he said he didn't have the power or the money at the time. So when Oprah called about it, he had to give it to her. Then Lee Daniels was going to do a biopic about Richard Pryor, and she wanted to be the grandmother. But Oprah called and said she wanted that position. I can't see that. But I'm going to tell you something. This right here is done. Let me tell you something. Monique is over Oprah, right? And she says she has overstepped her boundaries a lot when it comes to her. She said if they were not Monique and Oprah in the industry, but they were Monique and Oprah at Costco, she said, I'll meet you in the break room. I'll holler at you at your register. Baby, Monique is done. So lastly, Monique talks about when she had won the Oscar and she was going to be in the Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah had called her and said her brother, who had violated her, was going to be on the show. Monique said, I don't want any parts of that. I don't want you to scratch the show because he could be good. You know, do whatever it is that you're going to do. So that's where that was. Then she said she started seeing commercials where her mom and dad was on the show, right? And she said she just couldn't believe that they would have someone here speaking up for someone who has violated her because she was terrified of that brother. She said that Barbara Walters said that they called and they wanted to be on the show, but Barbara said, I couldn't do that to you. I couldn't make you relive that. And people would see her and talk about how horrible her mom was, and she agreed with them, but it's her mom. So, Oprah, like, am I looking at you a little sideways? So now we get into the D.L. Hughley of it all, right? She said she did the D.L. Hughley podcast. He wasn't there. The staff was there. After it was over, they wanted to play Would You Rather, the game. And then they asked her, would you rather your husband sleep with Lee Daniels with protection or Corinne Steffens without? That's disrespectful. That's hella disrespectful. Let me tell you something Monique doing that a lot of people don't do. She name dropping. She said that the person that started this game was named Jasmine, the assistant or whatever. She was like, oh, Monique, we're just playing a game. She was like, but what is the good of it? You're involving people who shouldn't even be involved. And Monique is correct. Like, they really be trying Monique. So Monique called DL and Tattletale of the Year, told him, like, this is what your people over here doing. This is crazy. DL told her that's how we do it. Monique gasped because it's very disrespectful, and she couldn't kind of believe it, but he doubled down and said that's how we do it. Child. She said through the years she noticed how DL really talks bad about her, and she mentioned Cat Williams again, that he forgot to put DL in the group, but DL is someone Cat likes. But she said she didn't even realize that she and DL had a problem until she really looks at everything he says about her, being difficult to work with, talks about equality for women. Like, I didn't realize that either. So it was the show in Detroit. Monique said that contractually she was the headliner, but DL had the information on a memorandum that he put out for everybody to see. And the contract is what it is, and a memorandum is what you want it to be. There is a difference. Y'all know that thing got big. So everything Monique got up and said in Detroit on that stage, because DL had come in purposely, allegedly, after she had to get on stage. She said it was all in reference to what they tried to do to her at the radio show, where she called DL to talk about it, and he said it is what it is. So she was just speaking out for the disrespect. I get it. So how did she get started in stand-up? She said it was kind of on a dare. Her brother had gone to open mic night. They booed him. She told him what she would have said instead, and he dared her to go and do it. And she went that following week and got a standing ovation. And from that moment, it's clear to me that Monique did not have good representation as she started 3 months in to being in LA and got the Parkers, right? I get it. They got to see how it's going to go, whatever. She said she didn't know that in 3 years, the syndication was there. She was promoting it unknowing. She thought they meant get to 5 years, and they were already in syndication because at the 3-year point, they had 110 episodes, and all you need is 100 for syndication. Monique did not have good representation. I am clear on that right now. She got the Parkers within 3 months that she was in LA. I'm sure she took whatever they offered. They told her to go for syndication, and syndication is 100 episodes, and they made her think it would be 5 years. They had 110 episodes by 3 years, and she was on the radio really promoting it and didn't know she was promoting syndication. She went on to say that in 2004, at the end of it, she and Countess were only making $55,000 an episode. I did the math. It's like $1.2 million that she would have been paid. But now, with the Parkers in syndication, it's worth over $8-something billion. And Monique is fighting for that now. She is always fighting for something. She definitely should fight for this because Monique is the Parkers. How could they not pay her? Do y'all remember the lady at the Apollo with the jerry curl? If you know, you know. Monique said that's when she got her first break, and she's telling the truth. If that lady liked you, everybody liked you. If she didn't, no one did. And she was happy when she saw that woman stand to her feet for her. I know that's right. Monique went through a lot with them bonnets. That bonnet situation. But 100% I agree with her. I too wear a bonnet in my home, but not outside of it. Just get a cap. So Monique is talking about Sydney and how he's helped her become a lady, right? She's not as abrasive and people can hear her better like this. So she talks about Tiffany Haddish, that she was in an interview talking about Monique, and she said, I don't do business like that, and I'm glad I don't have a husband like that. Monique said, if you had a husband like mine, maybe you would not have 2 DUIs. And all I can say is, I don't know why they try Monique like this. Because Monique is 100% correct. She said the way the Parkers came to be, because you have to do a pilot. She said that they always talked about Kim's mom, but we never knew who she was. So the pilot was shot at the end of Moesha, where we're introduced to Nikki Parker, and that became the Parkers. Monique said she wasn't an original queen of comedy, right? She said she joined in Samora, who is so funny, when she was the headliner. After she and Monique did a show, she said she walked past her and said, Monique, you headline from now on. Like, Monique loves when you can acknowledge that this is what is the best thing for the audience. And I think that's where people miss out with Monique. She just wants to do what's best for everyone. Now, this is what I was waiting on, the can situation. So Monique said she did all of her promotion over here in the United States, and she was done with all of her contractual agreements. They wanted her to go overseas to do it in Cannes because she did so well in the U.S. Well, she said no. Every time they called, she said, no, I'm spending time with my family. So she was somewhere with Tyler Perry. He wanted to meet with her in the room. She took her security up there. He was like, we really need you to do this because when you get your next movie deal, this is how much you're going to get paid. And she was like, no, if you want to pay me, I'll do it. He said, I'm not in the process of giving away free money. She said, I'm not willing to work for free. But we ain't going to talk about this $1 million check you gave TD Jakes. How TD Jakes get into it? So Tyler Perry, with the lie, allegedly, that she's saying that he said, is who got her blackball in the industry. This was fantastic. There's about 30 more minutes of it, but I'm going to stop right here. Monique called it out. It's your girl, Millie Chun. Talk to you later.